This is the Real Good Procast with your hosts, Declan DeBarb, Ian Blumenthal, and Marshall Heath. Can we start the podcast?
I said, in the words of Ian, can we start?
Keep it. So welcome to the Real Good Procast, everybody. We're here for our, I think, 8th episode. We're going steady, and today we got a lot of fun stuff to talk to you about.
Yeah, we sunk into the meatier parts of the relationship here with the viewer. No longer do we have the first couple of months, the first couple of weeks honeymoon. We are really diving into the Real Good Procast here. Like Ian said, Declan DeBarb, Ian Blumenthal to my right. Marshall Healy joins me tonight.
Hello, Declan.
Yes, pointing at us is going to let the viewers see, because we definitely have video.
Listen, you just don't need to be a dick.
Okay. Well, like I am, so I'm gonna keep.
I
doing
didn't
it.
sign any contract saying I can't be a dick. So.
Yeah, like where's our signing? Like I didn't get paid any money for this. I'm looking for 7.5 mil.
Yeah, 7.5. I think you're gonna get closer to 6.9.
I don't know. I'm looking at a 7.10 at least.
7.10.
So
Let's
8.
go.
So Matthews is back, which is hype. He's coming back tonight after he's been gone since October 27th, which is going to be awesome because he has 10 goals, which is tied for second on the Leafs, right? Or third, because Tavares has 16 or 17.
Tavares has a lot of goals.
But you know who has more? Like Patrick Laine and Jeff Skinner, and who's the third guy? Rantanen? Is it or McKinnon?
Mikko Rantanen. Se Mikko
No,
Rantanen.
We're gonna skip that.
There
because
goes
that's the
another
worst thing
5
ever.
seconds.
But Matthews is back in the lineup. Leafs are 9-5 without him. What does that say about this depth of the team?
I think other teams should be concerned.
We don't even have our blonde beauty,
Our toast man.
the toast man. If you don't know, William Nylander looks like a piece of toast. Look it up; it's funny.
It's my funniest. It's the funniest thing about him. But I think, from everything I've heard, they're only $300,000 apart. I guess we'll dive right into
Which means they're
Nylander right now.
$6 million and $8 million, right? Because math.
Listen, I think that the deal will get signed. Will get done this week.
December 1st, 4:39 p.m.
I think he signs Friday, personally. I think it's a great way to start the weekend.
On Saturday.
I
will
would
he be
really
back
like
in
it
the
if he
lineup?
just kind of walks out tonight. They don't announce the contract. He just shows up.
That would be nuts. That would be sick if he just was like at the arena and he was there. Oh man, isn't he still in Sweden though?
I don't know.
He was on the ice today. Yeah, they got a video of him wearing a Toronto helmet, but still playing in
Listen,
Sweden.
both sides want to sign here.
Nah.
They both want to reach a deal. I think both teams have been pulled kicking and screaming to something in the middle. But I think at the end of the day, $300,000 is not worth losing a season over.
Meh.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say $1 million.
Yeah.
Like when you're at this.
Oop, sorry guys.
How do you go, Declan? When you're this high up, I don't see how $300,000 you can bid over, especially from the player standpoint.
Well, yeah,
That's my opinion.
It's the difference of making because he's not going to go to the KHL.
Did you see that pasta
God,
quote?
no.
Where they were asking him like, do you ever regret like now seeing that you're putting up this many points in the league? Like, do you regret like the contract you're signing? You could be worth a lot more. He was like, he went in like I don't even know where is he from, like Ukraine?
He's Czech.
Oh, he's Czech, and he was like, I could be playing in Czech for a couple $100 a month.
Yeah, like he's like
Yeah,
he basically threw Nylander under the bus in a way by saying what he said, which I am on Pasternak and the Maple Leafs side with this.
I think Pasternak is on a ridiculously good deal, though.
Yeah,
Look at the player he is.
Yeah.
You shouldn't compare Nylander's contract to Pasternak.
He's
the
like an
same
8
way you
mil.
shouldn't compare Nylander's contract to Draisaitl.
You can't compare him to anything. You can't compare any player's contract to any other player unless they're signing at the same time.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen though if Nylander signs and then Marner gets more?
Because Marner's better.
No, I said what's gonna happen?
Like-
Is Nylander gonna say I'm not gonna play now? Is he just gonna go back
No,
to?
he can't.
Well, you can go back to
What's he
Sweden.
gonna just leave?
He
Yeah,
may-
but he's not under
Yeah, and
contract.
make what, like
I'm just-
$1,000?
Make like
a
$1
week?
million in Sweden.
at this point, it almost seems like his principles are higher than his brain
No.
is.
No. His,
I don't- I
his
think getting
principles
up-
are all on the money.
I think getting upset at Nylander for
Yeah.
negotiating hard on a deal is unfair, though.
I think it's fine. Like,
Listen,
I don't really care that he's negotiating.
These are multi-millionaires.
Yeah, it is.
doesn't matter. He's going to get paid no matter what. But he should get paid market value, and Pasternak is not market value. Pasternak is below market value.
No. Pasternak is getting paid way less than he should be.
Just like
which-
Draisaitl is getting paid way more than he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
does-
Listen.
that's Chiarelli, so he's not even relevant to this
Yeah,
conversation.
you can't ask about like you can't use Oilers contracts as like,
Listen,
like
Yeah,
comparing
that
to
you
other people in the
shouldn't.
league.
You shouldn't. But some GMs will. But some agents will. They know how to game the system, and it's literally asked Peter Chiarelli for money, and he's like, "I guess this is a good idea."
Yeah, so Nylander probably would have made like $9 million in Edmonton.
Oh, easily. But Nylander has to know this is a business where it's also about a team can only spend so much money, and he also has to know that this is Dubas's first main. This is first main after Tavares, the first main team that he has to re-sign. So he knows that Dubas is going to have to play hardball, and he has to just kind of come to terms with that. He's not going to be able to get everything that he wants.
No, and I mean, I think the question is, do you want to win? I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm just puppeting Steve Dangle's talking points here, but I really do agree with his point of view that Pasternak is on a wicked deal, that Draisaitl is not.
But Pasternak's on a better team.
Yes, and that both sides need to compromise. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
sides need to compromise, and I think the contract will come in at 6-9. That's what Friedman was saying. He's thinking it'll probably be a 6-year deal. He said that in 31 Thoughts.
If he goes for 6-9, I would be ecstatic.
Listen,
I think that's a sweetheart deal.
I think anything under 7-5 is good for Nylander because it's going to get better.
If I was Toronto, I would not go over 7. So if it's 6-9,
Well,
that
if
works
you're
for
going
me.
no, but at this point, like you could sign him for all these for 7 point whatever, but then the cap hit is only like 6 point something for these rest
No,
of the years.
this year it'll be a
Because
high
then-
cap. Higher
No,
cap
because
hit.
you can make the cap hit like 9 something million this year, and then 6 point whatever the next year's. So you're actually saving money.
Well, yeah, because you're paying him for the time he missed.
Yeah.
So that brings up the question of why hasn't he maybe bet on himself? Sign a 2 or 3 year contract.
Because he
I
doesn't
don't
want to
think-
be traded.
I don't think the Leafs want to. Yeah, I don't
I
think he
think-
wants to leave
but
the
if
Leafs.
he signed a lower contract, he could work in no trade, could he not?
No. Well, he can't get a no trade now. You have to. I can't remember. I think it's 25 to
Oh,
get a new
okay.
trade. No trade. That's
but if he
that's the
signs-
big one. He can't get a no move, and he wants to sign a deal that
Keeps him in Toronto.
That keeps him in Toronto. But
Okay,
the
then.
deal. But if he signs a bad deal, he's more likely to be traded.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I mean, look at. I mean, I think the perfect example is Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri is on a wicked deal. He makes $4.5 million.
For how many more years? Like
I
4,
I think
5?
him and Riley expire the same time, and that's
22.
4 years from now. But
Uh,
I'll pull it up on
I think
HockeyDB.
it's 2022.
I mean, on Cap Friendly. But I mean, at the end of the day, look, Kadri is a big part of this team because I mean he's a great player first of all, but his contract is great.
It helps the team.
It helps the team, and that's why I don't think him as a trading piece will be on the block
No,
because
Toronto
he's
would
so
be,
important.
Toronto would be stupid to let that go and then have a gap to fill with something more that may not get the same production value.
Yeah, exactly.
So they see the thing with Nylander, and
I mean, and with Matthews being gone, we've saw the. I'm trying to think
The
of the
depth.
right. The depth, yeah, the depth. On,
Of
I
scoring.
don't
with Nylander and Matthews gone.
I don't know if Par Lindholm is great. I don't.
Well, Goat's the
particularly-
one out of the lineup tonight with Matthews coming back, and when Nylander comes back, who's it going to be?
I think it'll be Brown Cow, but
Brown cow.
but I think that Goat should be in. Like I've really liked Goat
Yeah,
this
but
year.
there's no real place for him when Matthews comes back.
I think the fourth line has just been so good, and I mean, it is.
Yeah, but what are you
I think
gonna
it's a
get?
hard decision.
Gauthier or Matthews?
No, not taking Matt,
No,
not putting
I-
Matthews back in. I'm
No,
saying
I know.
instead of Par Lindholm.
But I think Par Lindholm is a better winger, and they don't need that centerman.
I think you still need a 4C.
Like Par Lindholm probably does a better job there.
Okay, like fair. I've liked how the fourth line has been playing this.
Because Goat is a big guy,
Yeah.
and he gets in those greasy places, but he's really, really slow. And if you like, I think Par Lindholm would just like add a little bit more speed to that line. I know he's not like a bullet by
Yeah, fair.
himself, but just adding a little bit more speed with that line, and they have similar hand-eye coordination. Goat's been good at keeping the puck away from our net, but not really getting the puck towards their net. That's really been a lot of Tyler Ennis. I find he's driving play a lot on that line, and if you put part Lindholm with him, I think it might even generate more chances. I don't know.
I don't want to change the topic too much, but who are your guys' MVP with right now in Toronto?
Marner.
Marner?
Freddie.
Freddie.
I had to change my mind. Yeah, Freddie,
hands down.
So neither of you even thought of Morgan.
Oh, I was going to say Freddie because Freddie 100% right now, but then Morgan's like next.
Okay.
And then Marner. And then Tavares.
I just think Marner's done such a good job of driving play and developing offense. What in the absence of Austin Matthews,
Doesn't Riley have more points?
I don't think so. But Riley has been fantastic. There's been a couple of Leafs who've been absolutely fantastic this year.
Yeah, Riley doesn't more. He has second most defensive points.
Behind Hot Sam.
Hot Sam Bacho, big pickup in fantasy hockey. I'm still gonna lose.
I think it's just from an outsider perspective and having to deal with the onslaught of Toronto media as you always do, and I still don't say that negatively, but it's amazing when you look at what happened when Tavares signed, and then you go to now, and Tavares is not the first, second, third, or even fourth most important player on Toronto this year. I think that just tells you how good Toronto is.
I thought you were about to be like, it's just how bad of a deal.
No,
Like,
I
think
don't think it's
isn't he
a
on
bad
pace
deal.
for something like
Yeah.
50 goals?
No, it's his
Yeah,
own- it's
he's
his-
having a really good year, and he's just doing it very quietly in the biggest market ever, which tells you how impressive this team is right now.
Yeah, and just to get back to the point I made about Nazem Kadri, it is 4.5 for another 4 years. But
great.
I think, listen, John Tavares has been fantastic. Has been fantastic for the Leafs. He's always in the right place. He hasn't been the flashiest player, and he's getting those tap-ins. But at the end of the day, man, I think it is so impressive that John Tavares has come in here and been such an impact and hasn't even been talked about because other players are stepping up
A
this year.
quiet impact, which in Toronto is a very impressive and a very important thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's another person I think has had, maybe moving on to another person that has a big impact without being noticed much is Patrick Marleau.
I have to disagray with you there. I don't think Marlowe's been good.
Leadership. It's important when you have young guys that you have people to help them. It may not translate on points, but it's important to have that leadership there.
Yeah, fair. And I mean, he just played his 1600 game, which is
1600th game.
He's only missed
Wow.
31 games in his career.
and I think he's on like a 700 game Ironman streak in the same thing.
He hasn't missed a game since 2009.
Yeah.
And this has all also happened where there's been a full lockout and a half-year lockout. If he plays every game for the rest of the year, he'll be 5th all-time, and then all of next year, he'll be 1st on all-time games played, which I think is impressive given the year-and-a-half lockout that he has missed. Like, if it wasn't for those lockouts, he'd have the record right now.
And he's honestly still producing.
Yeah,
He's still putting up numbers. I'm not saying that he's like the main guy who drives the play and who does like a lot of the skating, getting in those greasy areas, but he's getting in the right places at the right times, working well with Cappy and Kadri right now. And I think that when Matthews comes back tonight, is Matthews going to be back in that top C spot?
No, he's going to be 2nd C, I think. That's
Fine.
what.
If but he's still going to be like kind of first C, like 1A, 1B.
Yeah, no, it's a 1A, 1B scenario, but he's going to be 2nd,
but
I believe.
That means Kadri's probably going back with I don't know, Yanni and who else is on that line back there?
Yanni and
Connor?
Brown Cow?
Yeah, Brown Cow. Because on the 4th line, then you got Ennis and Levo. Wow. And then
This
Lindholm in the
team is
middle.
just funny, man.
Man, honestly, Ennis has been a
Funny in
big
a good way.
standout for me this year so far. He's been doing exactly what they need him to do. Putting up, like, not that many, but a decent amount of goals and, like, driving play well for that 4th line. It's pretty fun to watch him, honestly. Like, I see a lot of skill in him. He's just a lot smaller than, like, Matthews and Nylander and those guys. He's even smaller than Marner, like, significantly. But he,
which is
like...
impressive.
Yeah, right? But he still does every job he's asked to do, and he does it perfect.
This is
Yeah.
Tyler Ennis? Sorry, I
Yeah.
zoned out. I've been trying to find the Leafs lines. I haven't been successful. But I think Tyler Ennis has been fantastic on the 4th line. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
such a big piece. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think just having every part of your lineup chip in and every part of your lineup being a threat, I don't fear when the 4th line is out there anymore, which is
Good.
good. Yeah, no, it's good. Most teams can't say that.
I sure as hell
I-
can with my team.
I trust the fourth line to be out there and to not give up the puck. They're generally pretty good at it. I think,
A part of it also is Freddie.
yeah, no, for sure, 100%. But they do such a good job at trapping the puck into the offensive zone that I'm never concerned when
Yeah.
they're out on the ice. I think
No,
that
yeah.
overall, I think the weakest link in the Leafs is that right side on defense. But sticking with the forwards, I think it's been the third line. They haven't been fantastic this year.
Well, they were kind of like given the shit end of the stick with like when Matthews got injured because they lost Kadri, who's a major producer for that line, and they got Lindholm in the middle, and then you got Brown and Janssen, and yeah, you got some speed there, but I don't think anyone really has those hands. Like Yanni's been like he had that hat trick on Saturday, which was sick, and he's been okay. He's got 5 goals on the season, but like again, a hat trick is 66 or 60% of your goals on the season. I think that once they get Kadri back, they're going to start producing a little bit more.
I just think there's no offensive threat on that. Like, I think Janssen has the ability to, but I think Brown Cow is such a defensive player, and that's not to take away from his defensive game, because I think he's great in his own zone. He's responsible with the puck. He's just a low event player. Like, not a lot happens.
Yeah, which is not a bad. I don't think Babcock doesn't like that. I think he
No, and I think
genuinely likes that about Brown Cow.
so do I. And I mean, I'm concerned when Willie comes back, Josh Levo finds himself in the press box again.
Man, Josh Levo needs to be on this team.
I think he's been so good.
How many goals does he have?
I have
He's
no
got
clue.
like 6 or something.
Who
which
would
is
okay? Hypothetically, who would you sit? Nylander comes back.
probably like.
Would
they
you
kinda
trade
need
Connor
Lindholm,
Brown?
But I would probably sit Connor. Well, it depends though, because Connor's like not that bad.
No,
You
and
think
that's
Connor
not.
can do what Hyman can do. He's got more speed, but I don't think he has that. I don't think he's as good.
I think I just like. I mean, I love Zach Hyman. Huh? Like, I have no words for Zach Hyman. He
I
takes
know.
my breath away.
Good
Zach,
Jewish
if you
boy
Zach,
from
if you're
Toronto.
listening to this, you are always welcome on the show.
I know someone that knows you, so you're always
Close enough.
welcome, which is kind of close enough.
But I think we've rambled on for the Leafs long enough. I mean,
I
most
ju-
of this is hypothetical.
Oh yeah, there's one more thing though with the Leafs. They did make a trade. It's not a big trade, but it's
No,
a
yeah,
small
it's
trade.
Nielsen for who?
It was Klimchuk. Klimchuk. Morgan Klimchuk. He's a forward. We traded a D and Andrew Nielsen, but I don't think it's a huge thing. But we'll try.
I mean, I think we probably should have let off and been like, "There's a trade."
Yeah, but it wasn't a huge thing. I don't think it's affecting anyone. He's not going to crack our lineup. He's going to play on the Marlies.
No, yeah, and that's a big point of that. But I think it's just a big a depth move, and I don't think there's much to write home about. Why don't we get to Ottawa? Marshall, you can participate in this discussion a little bit more. So there's a couple of happy things that we could talk about, and then one very upsetting thing.
I wouldn't say very upsetting, more expected than upsetting, but yeah, we'll start with the fun stuff.
Okay, so why don't we talk about your boy,
Well, I was
Hot
gonna say,
Sambacho?
leading defenseman scoring, having a hell of a year, and kind of making the team look stupid for not calling him up more last year, or making him look smart and keeping him where he was to develop. It's kind of go both ways about it. But I think what he's doing is he's almost cementing Carlson, and
Man, what if they kept Eric Carlson and like had Shabbat Carlson?
Well,
I
wasn't
don't-
that the pairing last year?
yeah, I'm not sure how that honestly work if they were together because
I
it'd be
I
too.
don't think they play together.
It'd be yeah, but then they don't. I'm not sure who they would have for a steady defenseman because you need someone to back up Carlson, and given the amount of points Shabbat has versus his plus minus, you need someone to back up Shabbat too. He's only +1.
I mean, Ottawa's letting everything into the
Well,
net.
let's just talk about this. Ottawa for the past couple of years has been called the most boring team to watch ever. They're now the opposite. They're the most fun team to watch.
I wouldn't
So
say the most fun.
No,
but,
there's literally I forget how it is, but they do lucky, unlucky, fun, not fun.
Oh yeah.
And Ottawa is in the far corner of fun. They're the most fun team apparently because they have
Because they generate offense and can't defend.
they have the second most goals for in the entire league, and their goals for against is -18. So that's not good when you're for. And the fact of the matter is that
Greggy.
Craig Anderson's save percentage is still in the 900s. So he gets a lot of shots.
Yeah, he is the most shot on goalie in the year.
He's
The
got
Ottawa
railed.
Senators give up the most shots per game. And
He's
I
al-
mean, when you have the competition that are the Ducks, I think it's a little sad. The Sens give up about 38.3 shots against per game taken from Sportsnet. The Ducks allow 35.6.
He's also like 36 or 37. He has the second most time on ice, which is not good. Now, granted, with the exception of last night against Philly, where the goalie actually had a good game, their backup McKenna has not been good at all. I will not be surprised if Ottawa picks up Calvin Pickard from Philly.
Oh, man.
The 4-goal route on 7 shots is gonna move to Ottawa.
I won't be surprised at all if that
Listen, I think it
happens.
was just a bad game.
No, yeah, I also
for
think that.
For
I mean,
Calvin Pickard, I think he's a decent goalie. We'll get into a little bit more of that later. There's
Yeah.
definitely some stuff I want to talk about the Sens, but Thomas Chabot, who's only 2 years older than us, which makes me a little bit upset.
Thanks, Declan. Thanks
Just
a
to
lot.
bring down everybody's night. In 25 games, has 7 goals, 22 assists, and he's been fantastic this year in the wake of Erik Karlsson leaving. I think it's a part of he's been given the spotlight, and he's definitely taken it and ran with it. I think it's like the McKinnon situation in Colorado, where Duchesne left, more of the emphasis and more of the usage was put on Thomas Chabot, and he's been thriving in that role.
And also, not just Chabot, but all the other rookies. Like Guy Boucher is Brady Tkachuk, Colin White. So Tkachuk, White, and Maxime Lajoie are 2, 3, 4 on rookie scoring.
Yep.
If you said that to an Ottawa fan last year, with how Guy Boucher played his rookies, they would not believe you.
Or I think if you said that to anyone this summer, I think most people expected Ottawa to concede 9 goals a game and not allow one and not score one.
Yeah.
No, Colin White was supposed to be, but I think he was supposed to be good. It's making Dorian's decision to keep this pick look a lot better, depending
Listen,
on
I
where
didn't
they
think
finished
that
last
was-
year.
I didn't think that was the right move. Even in terms of taking the pick, I don't think Brady Tkachuk was the right move.
Do you think so now, though?
I think I'm coming around on it. I haven't heard much of Zadina this year.
I mean, he has 13 points and he has 16 points in 13 games.
I
think it's become a two-way race now for the Calder, in my opinion, because he has more points per game than Elias Pettersson. So I think
Who?
he's Brady Tkachuk. He has
Okay.
more points per game than Pettersson. I think he's making a case for the Calder against Pettersson, which before Tkachuk got
What
hurt,
about Chabot?
he's not a
He
rookie.
wasn't a rookie. He played last
Oh
year.
yeah, no, you're right.
So I wish he could do that because it'd be really interesting. But and then if they take the votes away and Pettersson get it. So I think it's interesting that Ottawa has. I think if they can get either Duchesne or Stone, I'd be okay with one. I think the rebuild would not be a 5-year rebuild or a 4. I think it could be a 2-year or 3-year most. I think it's not going to be all bad on the ice for Ottawa. Off the ice is a different story. If you want to.
No, yeah, and we'll use that to pivot into the suit that Eugene
Eugene?
Melnyk
Yeah.
is filing against his
Business partner.
co-business partner.
Well,
and
not anymore.
to the
Ex-business partner.
and the attempt to buy the arena in LeBreton Flats and get it financed. There's been a lot of reporting done on that. I believe it's a $700 million suit.
Which is also the amount of money that Melnick would have needed to front to begin with for the arena. So
yeah, and I don't think
it's a
I think,
symbolic
like
amount.
I vaguely remember. I can't remember where I heard this. I think it was Elliot Friedman's podcast. That the reporting has been that Eugene Melnyk doesn't want to pay for any of it.
No, and well, stuff.
Yeah.
There's been stuff that come out today with with CBC and Jim Watson. He had a press conference because this is the end of the term now for City Council, and they were talking about who wanted to pay for what. And Jim Watson came out saying that in the first meeting, Melnick and his group said we want the city to pay for it. Since then, Ottawa has come back to COO and has refuted that, saying that's not entirely the case. We discussed partnerships, and it's also kind of hypocritical how Mayor Watson would say, "We'll help with Lansdowne, but not with Breton Flats." So it's kind of a case of he said, she said right now. We don't know the full story.
But getting into some Ottawa politics, nobody's really happy about Lansdowne. It's not a popular thing.
I mean,
No. As someone who's come in and benefits from Lansdowne, yes.
Yes.
But the residents of Center Ward, where Lansdowne
Well, they
is
didn't
in
want to
Ottawa,
begin
they
with.
hate it, and the way that it's done is horrible. From everyone that has ever talked about it, apparently, and this is said without any sources or anything, that the business there is solely they take, and they don't give back to the community.
Well, I can't speak on
So
that because
I would hazard for Eugene Melnick to associate himself with the development group over at Lansdowne, and
well, I haven't heard that sort of stuff from Centertown. I've heard people that are like, at least from people that come that aren't directly near it and come from outside. They think it's great. They think it's a cool experience to have there. So I think it's definitely two sides of the coin where you have one
No,
group
yeah.
not and one group do like him. But I think in the end, John Ruddy's the person he's suing. He's the principal owner of the 67s, the Red Blacks, and the Fury, who all play at Lansdowne.
Carlton grad as well. He was a
Yes.
linebacker back in the day.
And he's like the reason that Carlton has a football team
Yep.
right now. So, kudos to him.
So popular man in the area. I mean, I don't think this
I-
move buys
yeah, I
Eugene
think
Melnick any brownie
outside of
points.
the people that live right beside Lansdowne for years, everyone else in Ottawa likes Lansdowne.
No, yeah,
So I
no.
think to say that, I think, and also the city of Ottawa put up $218 million for Lansdowne, which is a lot, but not that much really, considering how much, like Melnick
Like
wants
an arena can cost.
how much,
$700
and not even
million.
just the arena. They put up 218 for Lansdowne in total. That includes all the
Like like a
Yeah,
round. So.
all that. So for arena alone, that's not a lot of money. So it's kind of weird. It's like I said, it's a lot of he said she said right now.
I just don't think Eugene Melnick wants to make any money.
No, he does.
No, okay.
He doesn't like Ottawa.
No,
He just wants
how old is Eugene Malik? I was listening. I think it was the Steve Dangle podcast like the other day.
They talked about it.
Yeah, no, but they made a good point of like how old is Eugene Melnick?
I'm gonna
60.
Google it.
He's 60 something years old, and he's gonna if he puts all his money into it right now, by the time he makes money from it, it's 20 plus years.
Eugene Melnick is 59.
20
he-
plus years. He's
he-
gonna be 79. Do you think he really wants to
well,
like?
he has also said multiple times he will never sell. This team will go to his daughters, which is a matter of okay, maybe he just wants to give half for his daughters. But I'd also, there's some talk that this is the last thing that Melnick has. He isn't involved in any of the businesses. This is the only way that he keeps up who he is as a NHL owner. So he wants to hang on to it for as long as possible.
No, yeah, and I think by moving downtown, you make the franchise more viable. You allow the franchise to make more money.
And you get rid
You
of
draw more people to
and
your game.
you get rid of one off-ice issue out of the plenty that they have that can help bring in maybe one other player that would not go there before.
And like, I mean, Ottawa's a government town. It's hard to find. It's hard to find
Yeah, that's
private sponsorship here.
That's a whole
It's
other-
hard to have companies come in and buy season tickets. It's hard
Very hard.
to have a name on your building. So the fact that this team exists here at all is almost a miracle.
Now, Bettman has also said they will never leave.
No,
Ottawa,
yes.
which I believe.
And
I genuinely believe
what's,
that.
What's happened with the Coyotes? Like, I genuinely don't think.
Yeah,
that if they don't keep this Ottawa Senators team here, that Gary Bettman is a buffoon.
I would want him out of the Hall of Fame if he didn't go to the same lengths he has for Ottawa that he has for Phoenix.
No, yeah, but I think they're different cases. Phoenix makes more money than Ottawa, I believe, because American dollar.
because of American dollar.
Yeah, and like, say what you want about Gary Bettman, but
I'm more on his side than I was a couple of years ago. I will say that.
but I think moving a
It's
franchise
an Olympic thing.
is one of the worst things you can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It completely destroys a fan base that was there before.
Yeah, there has to
You
be.
completely destroy a bastion of hockey, and especially for a city like Ottawa. How can you move a team that's a Canadian team, because they'll like the people watch it here. It's
They
a
d-
big thing. And
But the Senators aren't.
Well, no. Regardless of what the attendance at the stadium says, people still care about the Ottawa Senators.
Yep.
And like you said, there's more than a dozen mitigating issues for all that stuff, and it's not. I don't want to get too deep in this podcast, but it's not just one thing of we don't care, but it's a sad issue right now with the suit and with every other thing that's happening, and I'm just happy that you can watch an Ottawa game and be entertained, and that's at least a good thing right now, and that we can at least say that for now. And I'm hoping that we get Duchesne signed, and if not, I'm hoping we get Stone signed. But I am more likely saying Duchesne than Stone.
do you hope Duchesne over Stone? That's just a general question.
Well, Duchesne's been lighting it up this year.
Stone's has more, but Duchesne's having a career contract year.
Yeah.
he had. I mean, there's a side of like he has ties in the area. There isn't that issue with like off ice stuff that Stone maybe with his. It's just I don't know. At this point, I think it's more likely to be Duchesne. So I'm kind of I'm more hopeful there because I honestly will not be surprised if Stone walks. He's 27. He's in his prime. He can get the most money possible.
No, yeah, and I think Ottawa does want to keep one of them.
If not both.
I
But
think that would be nice.
I think yeah, they have a lot of unsigned people next. They have a lot of RFAs next year that I think they also need to keep into consideration.
Yep.
So
Yep, right, you are. So why don't we move from one town to another where heads are rolling in Philadelphia?
yeah,
So Philly has been firing everyone.
everyone except for the coach, which is a little weird.
Everyone.
Yeah.
So Ron
This is the
Hextall
first.
is out. That
Yes.
was news after they were handily beat by the Leafs. I would just like to say the second firing that the Leafs have caused. They forced who was
The
LA's
Kings?
coach? Who was LA's coach?
Um,
I can't remember off the top of my head. They forced LA to
Not Yo. That was
fire
in
their
St.
coach.
Louis.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but anyways, and now they beat them. They beat the Flyers so bad and
Ottawa
exposed
beat the
so many of their
Oh, and then Ottawa,
so many of their flaws,
and then Ottawa beats the Flyers, which is even worse.
and more changes come.
Gordon Murphy and Chris Pryor are out.
Yeah,
Pryor
both,
being a
both ACs.
well, no, one was a assistant general manager. Pryor assistant
Okay.
general manager of a 19-year veteran of that organization, which tells you that they think it's time for change.
Well, the Flyers have been going through goalie after goalie after goalie this year, and I think that's one of the roots of their problems right there. Is finding a goalie. Don't they have Carter Hart coming up?
Carter Hart is coming up, but
He's a prospect that's supposed to be like the next Carey Price. I think he's got like OHL, like Player of the Year MVP, and he
Yeah.
also had WHL
Yeah,
Player
he's like-
MVP or whatever.
He's like the only good Canada goalie for World Juniors like the last decade.
Yeah, and
Since Price.
yeah,
really.
for sure. And so I think that might be part of a solution to one of their problems.
man,
they're-
I think that's the big problem. I think that you have a goalie who can make a save.
And then stuff builds around
And
that.
then everything comes in. I really see this as a team that's really missing
Well,
one piece
I
because
really
I
like-
like their back end.
I like the Wayne Simmons contract. I think he's
It's up at the end of the year.
Yeah, but for I like he's gonna make a decent amount of money.
And I don't think it'll be in Philly.
I don't see that either. But I'm looking forward to what Philly I think can do. Like they still have Nolan Patrick, who is good, but he's not what he could have been. Or like he could still become that. He's still very young, and I just don't think he's made that huge splash that I don't think the splash is yet to come. But obviously a lot of problems in Philly, like their PK,
I think, man, it's
Which
just
is
the goalie.
70%.
which is garbage.
Third worst, second worst in the league. They allow the third most goals in the league at 3.58. And a lot of that comes down to goaltending. You mentioned it, Ian. They have one goalie above league average, one goalie above 900 in Brian Elliott.
Brian Elliott, like I've always been an okay fan of him. He's not terrible. He's just very much like average.
Yeah, but Brian Elliott's a backup goalie. I think he's never played more than something like 40 games
Yeah,
in
and
a
Had
they
year.
a
need-
good year with
they
St.
need that
Louis.
starter.
Other than that, he's
Yeah,
been
but I think it
awful.
was in 38 games.
Yeah,
Let me double check on that. But
it was one of those like two goalie split.
man,
one.
I just think Philly needs Carter Hart to be ready.
Well, goaltending is the biggest part of a team. Look at what happened in Buffalo. They added Jeff Skinner, but the main thing that really happened this year is Carter Hutton coming and putting in numbers.
And now they have a 10-game win streak.
And now,
and are top in the Atlantic.
in the league, aren't they? Aren't they
I don't
number
know if
one
it's
in the league?
That wouldn't surprise me.
I'm pretty sure because if they haven't lost and they were already first in the league, I think they're still first in the league.
Brian
Yeah.
Elliott has only played 50 games, more than 50 games once, and that was in 2009-10. In 16-17, where he was decent. He put up 40. In 49 games, he put up a 910 save percentage,
Man.
but was pretty decent with the Calgary Flames. He wasn't there in big moments. He's come over to the Flyers, and he's been pretty consistent. Last year, he put up a 909. This year, he's a 911. That's only in 14 games, but It's their backup goalie.
Man, I'm looking at the league standings right now, and they're stupid. Like the top, well, number 1, 3, and 4 are all Atlantic, Buffalo, Tampa, Toronto. But then you got Nashville at second, Colorado at fifth. Like the Metropolitan and Atlantic divisions are the strongest divisions in hockey right now.
Yeah, can we appreciate Boston in 8th in the league and not in a playoff spot?
No, aren't they wild card?
Yeah, they're a wild
They're
card.
definitely
now.
wild card.
They're a wild card.
100%
now.
they're wild card.
Them in Carolina.
Okay. No.
Yeah, their first wild card spot, and Carolina's
Ah,
second wild card spot. But Montreal has the same amount of points as them, but they have less regular overtime wins.
And
Don't
Bergeron
get-
is a team that is battered and bruised. But let's not get into Boston tonight. Did I say Bergeron is a team that's battered and bruised?
Yes.
Boston is a team that's battered and bruised.
For a second, I thought you said I thought you were referring to Bergevin, like the
No.
Montreal. I was really confused.
Oh, those huge arms.
Yeah, tree trunk arms. Anyway,
Just
Philly.
like beat you with arms.
But one thing I don't get about Philly is the firing today of the why fire the GM and then a day later fire the AC and the AGM and the AGM who is responsible for he's the guy that's been player development and drafting. Of their top 9 scorers, 4 of them are on entry level contracts. Like it's not like he's doing a bad job at his job. It's just they can't get the goalie, so I don't see why they're firing more people that would be able to help with whoever comes in next.
I think, you know what, at the end of the day, I think it's Philly just wants a complete change of scenery. And I think that's what you get for firing Ron Hextall midseason.
Not, yeah. Can you look up what Claude Giroux's contract is?
Yeah, I can. No, but I think it's such an interesting move to fire your GM mid-season. That, I get firing your coach mid-season, but how many GMs are fired mid-season?
Man, how many
It's a
coaches were fired mid-season for this year? And now we have, what, 4?
Well, yeah. Like last year was till late.
We didn't get
late
one.
February,
We didn't.
early
No, there was
March.
none.
For
We
a coach,
technically
for a
didn't
coach.
get one. It was New York who fired their coach after they played their last regular season game.
And then now we've had 4 coaches and a GM. And I won't be surprised if Hackstall is gone.
Yo, the boys' club is
Is
imploding.
gone before the last game. I think he'll make it to the trade deadline, but I think in between the trade deadline and the last game, he could be gone.
Listen, I think when the new GM comes in, they replace Dave.
This will be a case of Ray Shirero, and then
Dave Hextall.
this would be to get rid of Ray Shirero, and then get rid of Baalsma in Pittsburgh, or I think it's that case. The GM didn't want to fire the coach, or the GM's gone, and now the new GM comes in and says, "All right, coach, you're out of here."
Well,
Which won't be surprised.
Pittsburgh's kind of not in the playoffs right now.
Well, part of that's also a lot. Like kind of with Philly, goaltending is
Well,
not
Matt
been good.
Murray is
Oh.
injured.
Well, no, but just
And he's also not been good.
Yeah.
So
when he
played
was-
injured for a month.
well, then that's the Pittsburgh their own fault for not
Yeah, I
getting him
know,
off.
but I'm just saying, like,
Claude Giroux makes 8,275
But for how much longer?
till 2022.
that's
Do you think
solid.
Do you think he wants out?
That I honestly don't mind that contract at all. Claude Giroux is a phenomenal player.
He signed it back in 2014-15. But listen, if I'm Claude Giroux, I don't know if I want out. But I think you just need a goalie. I think that at the end of the day, that's the problem. I like a lot of the pieces that Philly has. I really like Travis Konechny. I like Claude Giroux. I like Voracek. I like Provorov. I like Gostisbehere.
I really thought they were going to be good this year.
So did I. I stacked my fantasy team with a couple of
They're last in the
To
Atlantic.
me, Philly and New Jersey are always those teams that
or
are just
East.
9, 10, 11. And Philly's worse than that this year, and New Jersey's worse.
Whoa,
than that
whoa!
this year.
New Jersey has Hall,
Yes, and they can thank
and they have
Shirelli for
Kincaid
that.
now.
Well,
I think
yeah,
Keith Kincaid
that's
is
the
really
difference.
good.
But I think it's kind of funny how we always keep on saying we've said goaltender for Philly, we said Freddie's the difference in Toronto. It's amazing how there's only a finite amount of goalies that are the difference between winning and not
Pecorine,
winning.
Nashville, boom. Take him away, their defense looks average.
Take away Fleury and
I
Vegas.
disagree. I think UC Saros is showing himself to be quite a good goalkeeper there. In
Okay, take a good goaltender away there, and their defense is mediocre. I'm saying that because Toronto's defense looks okay because Freddie is unreal,
yes. I don't know.
and
I-
Connor Hellebuck is the reason that Winnipeg's defense looks okay.
And he hasn't even been as good as he could be. He's getting better with I think with each game.
Carey Price is the only reason that Montreal's defense looks okay.
Well, yeah. I don't think that this is a controversial point that goalies make good defenses look good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't
They're
go.
on a 5 game skid right now.
But I wouldn't go so far to say Nashville's defense is bad.
No. I'm not saying they're
You
bad.
can't say a lineup that
but
has.
I'm just saying like, Pecorine is a 940 save percentage.
He's ridiculous.
so
Pecorine is
if
fantastic.
you give him a league average save percentage at 920, their defense doesn't look as good.
League average at 920. I would love 920.
Okay.
Like a 9.
League average at like 905, and take him, and then their defense looks mediocre.
I mean, honestly, look at Ottawa. Anderson has 900. You bump that up 15 points. They have enough wins to make it like, wow, they actually could make a shot at it. That's the difference there in Ottawa. And I'm not saying Anderson's the fault. He is not the fault. But you bumped up those points to where they were the year they made the cup run. And they're in if you bump the numbers like Anderson had to where they made the cup run, they have a playoff spot right now.
And
with
then
the
they can
amount
make
of
another
goals
cup run.
with the amount of goals they're scoring. And then that's
well.
that's the only thing we can look at right now.
I just
2
think
years
defense
ago.
is such a hard thing to gauge. It's just a hard thing to.
You should tell you should have told that to Peter Chiarelli.
Like, it's such a hard thing to fully analyze. I mean, at the end of the day, points are very easy to analyze, and I think a lot is given to that end of things.
I think that points are like not as important to how good a player actually plays.
No, I completely agree.
I points, and then you have to look at plus minus.
No,
Because-
plus minus is a team stat. Bullshit.
Plus minus is one of the
I
worst
hate
stats
it.
in hockey.
You can step on the ice for 1 second, get scored on, and it's -1 for you.
But you can also step on the ice and they have score. I'm just saying that plus minus on a bigger on like scale, like on a year-long scale, it will show
There
a
are
trend.
so many better stats that you can look at, though.
Corsi,
I mean,
advanced stats.
the advanced stat is definitely where you should look if you are trying to build a fuller picture of a
Moneyball.
player. I think plus minus for anybody is pretty bad because
Don't you use my favorite baseball movie against me?
It's a great.
How
movie.
is your
Brad
favorite
Pitt?
baseball movie not Field of Dreams?
No, the best baseball movie is Benchwarmers.
False. Field of Dreams makes me cry every time.
Never seen Field of Dreams. so
What?
Okay,
Benchwarmers.
I'm gonna be honest for another 30 seconds. We get back to hockey. Moneyball, then Major League, then Field of Dreams.
What about the kid that has like the surgery on his arm or whatever, and then he can like toss a ball 100 miles per hour? Have you guys seen that movie?
I know what you're talking
And
about. I
he,
don't
and he
know
goes
what
from
it
like
is.
he's in the outfield. And he
Doesn't
gets
he
a
play
ball.
the Cubs? Play for the
Yeah,
Cubs
he
or
plays
something?
for the Cubs, and he's like, it's like rookie or something. It's like all like
Real quick, best sports movies of all time.
Miracle.
I was gonna say Miracle too.
Revenge of the Titans.
Oh,
One
fuck
of my
no,
favorite
no,
movies
no.
all time.
I hate that, and I hate Rudy because they changed what happened so much that it's not even compared to what really happened.
No,
no.
The
Mighty
longest
Ducks.
yard.
The Mighty
longest
Ducks.
yard.
Yes, yeah, the longest yard, and another
I've
like,
never seen it.
Waterboy.
and under.
I've never seen The Longest Yard.
Oh, my, what?
It's a great.
You guys
like, Adam
need to see-
Sandler is like.
You guys need to see some more movies. Come on.
What? Me? I've
Well, you
a
haven't
lot
seen
of
Field of
movies.
Dreams.
Yeah, I've seen Field of Dreams, but like I was gonna, but then I was like, oh, what about Rocky?
Okay, you made the right choice.
Is Rocky a sports movie?
Shut
yeah,
up.
It's boxing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's boxing.
Is
Sorry.
Rocky a sports
That's-
movie?
That was a stupid comment.
It's as much of a sports movie as Moneyball is, and Moneyball is a sports movie. Just saying, because I have
Well, like,
friends that say otherwise.
Also, like Rocky is a bad movie. Like it's a great movie because like of the history and stuff, but it's a bad movie.
Forget
Adrian.
Forget Forget Declan's 55 points. Ian here with the hot takes. Rocky's a bad movie. What?
I like
Title of the episode, eh?
Okay.
Rocky is a bad movie.
no. Rocky as a concept and as like if it had a bigger budget and not
You're just
awful
talking yourself in a
cast-
circle.
No, it's not that Al Pacino's a bad actor.
Well,
Al
he's not,
Pacino?
He's not in
Oh
it.
my god.
Sylvester.
Okay, if Sylvester
We're done.
Stallone.
Dude, I think you just need to stop talking.
done.
Okay,
We're
Sylvester still. Okay, I'm correcting myself. Okay, it's not that Sylvester Stallone is a bad actor. It's
But-
that I don't believe his performance.
You don't believe his performance.
Yeah,
That he's Rocky.
yeah, I don't believe it.
Okay.
I think Creed is a great movie, and I think as years progressed, Sylvester Stallone became a better actor. But that was like his first movie. I don't know if you know that, but before that, he was renting on like $20. And
And
Didn't he
nothing.
used to do porn?
He wrote Rocky.
He wrote Rocky and he did nothing. Like he literally
wrote
was
it
living
st-
on the streets.
He wrote it so he could
He
be in a
sold
movie.
his dog. Okay, fun story about him. He sold his dog, who then he bought like he was because he was gonna like he wasn't doing well, and then he comes to do this movie. He wants to do this movie, and then he had this dog in the movie, right? So they wanted like the studio that was gonna pay for it was gonna be like, "Okay, here we're gonna get you a new dog," and he was like, "No, I need to get my original dog." So he spent like a lot of the movie's budget to like get his original dog that he sold back. And then he gets a real dog back, and then they shoot the movie.
Okay.
And bring it back full circle. Where's Rocky from?
Philadelphia.
Adrian. Okay. That was a tangent and a half.
Yeah, that was.
Wow.
Okay.
You guys just got mad at me because I think Rocky's
You
not
have
an
bad
actual good movie.
opinions. Why don't we move on? Why don't we take a breath and move on to Chicago and the trade that they made this week?
Chicago.
So
I don't want
before
to talk
you-
to you guys anymore.
Ian,
We'll
what's
talk-
your,
we'll
what
talk
is your
about movies
bad
after the
take on this
podcast.
trade that saw Dylan Strom and Brandon Pierlini leaving Arizona? In
Well, see us
return-
go, okay, get right here. See us right here. That's right here. Yeah. See
I
us
mean-
right here.
I think 3 weeks ago, Don Cherry had the best segment of his life.
When?
I sent it to both of you.
Now that's a hot take.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the Abdul dude or whatever. It was the funniest segment. It had everything you could have wanted.
Whoa. Can you please do the impression of Don Cherry again?
My impression is very bad. I don't do good impressions.
Okay.
I
Never
know
mind.
that.
Never
mine
mind.
You know,
okay?
my Don Cherry impression
You're-
is just
Ian-
yelling. It's just, it's a good kid. He's just out here from Oshawa, Ontario.
Ian is a better Rocky, but please continue.
Okay.
Oh!
What did I mean? I'm not good at impressions.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on, Strom has just 7 goals and 9 assists in his 47 career games.
Can make that 8. He scored last night for Chicago.
Oh, Chicago made the best trade ever. What?
Chicago best trade. Chicago back to winning the cup. Oh!
Is this just a case of both GMs thinking these players need a new scenery?
I think so. Like, I think that entirely what it comes
Yeah.
down to. I think
It's the same thing that happened with like Edmonton.
Yeah, but I think Arizona gave up a little bit more. I really like Brandon Perlini. I think he's a good depth player. Out in Chicago, he's out in Arizona rather. He's still young. I think he's 24 or 22. I
I
can't
have no
remember.
idea.
But man, I think Arizona might have made a bad trade here. I think it's. I don't know how good Nick Schmaltz is. When I
Well,
saw
no,
it,
no, yeah,
when I saw it, I thought Arizona got fleeced. Right off the bat.
I
did
also
not.
think that.
I did not think that. I
Really?
think Strom has been. I if you have 2 players that are combined better than one, and you can pay them less than that one, that's a good deal.
No, yeah, fair. I think that's
you can moneyball it.
I think that's a good point, but like, can we just appreciate that Mitch Marner was taken after Dylan Strom?
That so was there's someone else in that Ottawa has that was taken like that draft
I,
class.
that was also Aho's draft.
That was Yakupov. Like that draft.
That wasn't Yakupov's
Yeah, I'm
draft.
pretty sure. it
Wait,
was.
that
No,
was Yakupov's draft?
That was not Yakupov's
No.
draft. Yakupov was taken first overall by Edmonton.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a different player than.
Yeah, I think you're thinking about a
Did you
different
know that
year.
apparently
Dylan
the
Strom's
rumor
year?
around the
It was the
Yakupov
it's
thing?
the Yakupov. It's
is that-
it's a McDavid draft.
No, but the rumor around the Yakupov thing was that Yakupov came to Edmonton and like was chilled with Peter Chiarelli's kid, and like they played NHL together. And then apparently he was a nice kid. So then Chiarelli was like, or no, I don't think it was. No, it's not Chiarelli, but the owner. Who's the owner? I forget.
I don't know, but the owner
Okay, the
was the
owner
one who
was his
who
kid,
overrode
And then yeah, the owner was like, we're going Yakupov first.
instead of taking Ryan
and then
Murray.
everyone was like, nah, let's do that. And then he was like, no, my kid likes him. They played Chell together.
Okay, I've never heard of this story.
I heard that. I think it was the Spit and Chicklets podcast.
I haven't heard that story, but I do know that it was ownership who actually made that pick and not the GM. They wanted Ryan Murray. I can't remember. I think it was like most of the room was like, we're doing Ryan Murray. And then ownership was like, no.
That was the story I've heard.
But I mean, I think that this could backfire on both teams. I think that Dylan Strom can be fantastic and has that potential. He showed it.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Hannafin was also taken after, and Mikko Rantanen was taken after. So those are
Wait, what?
Mikko Rantanen said Mikko Rantanen.
Mikko was 10th overall in that draft class, and he's lighting it up right now. So
How
I
many-
think
do you know he has every assist that McKinnon has? Like on every McKinnon goal, he has an assist.
I think they're so good.
Well, yeah, and that's the argument
Wait,
right now.
who
that
is the better line in hockey right now? Is it?
Rantanen
Are
and
you giving me
Landeskog
Are you
McKinnon.
giving me examples or?
Or
you need-
I'm.
you need to
I
give
mean,
me
the,
exa-
the
you need to give me
question.
choices.
The question last year is Pasternak, Bergeron, Marchand the best line in hockey.
Yes, they
I now
was.
ask you:
No, it's Landeskog.
is
McKinnon.
Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen the best line in hockey?
Yes.
It's hard.
No, McDavid by himself.
No. Mick, what was it? The quiz on TSN was it last week where it was like who's
Wait,
the best
well-
play? Who's the best 1-2 in the league? And I'm like, why is McDavid and McDavid not up there?
Yeah.
Wait, you watched TSN?
The Leafs game was on.
Okay, fair enough.
I watch SportsCenter there.
Yeah, I watched TSN almost exclusively.
I don't watch SportsCenter. I mean, Sportsnet Central. I don't
Yeah,
know.
shout out to Jay On, right? Just had a
I
baby
think-
boy last night.
Oh yeah. He had to leave the show early.
Yeah.
I saw his tweet. It was funny. They didn't name his child Gus.
What'd they name him?
I don't
not
know.
not Gus is what.
Not Gus.
Yeah.
Because
They named him Gritty.
That's what Dan O'Toole wanted, and they didn't do it. Gritty is. I had a joke here. Not really a joke. It was low hanging fruit. That Gritty's the best thing that's happened to Philly this year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 100%. I think Gritty should be the GM.
He's doing a slow takeover, and in a couple of years, he will be on the bench.
I am the Senate.
You will be on. the
Gritty is the Senate. He will just take control. So I mean, other than that, I think we've burned through a lot. We've gone on a couple of tangents. I thought we had a lot of fun tonight, guys. Why
Well-
don't we get into trivia?
Well, yeah, this is though the first question will not be that easy. Then after that, it will be
So is this where the night goes downhill as me and Ian expose ourselves as idiots?
No, this is trust me. He is known. I could.
Okay.
Like,
So-
BK Subban!
Okay.
Connor McDavid!
I
so,
can't. Do you have the score written down? Because I know that I haven't gotten one right.
Ian has
I got
gotten one or two, and I got yeah. So
we should make a spreadsheet
Yeah.
to keep track, and
So-
then there should be a punishment at the end of the year.
And also, because these are going to be easier,
So
I'm going to
Declan?
limit the answers to 10 seconds. At 10 seconds, we move on to the next question. And you can't answer while I'm asking the question.
Okay, why don't we get into this,
Hold on,
Marshall?
let me get
So-
a timer out.
Okay, yeah, you
First
actually, I kind of want that.
What's the best movie?
I kind of need that so I can. look
Which
at mine.
bear is best?
First question:
Bears?
which bear is best?
Well, it's a
Okay.
really weird. Okay, so.
False. Black bear.
Did you see that?
No.
Okay. Like, you can't really stand away.
Don't lie.
I swear I didn't see it!
So, just.
I will stab you.
With a knife.
So, the first question, really easy. So, he played in the Q, and he was selected 71st overall in the 2006 NHL entry draft.
Is it Alex Drouin? No, that's not his first name.
No.
That's a girl
Is
on the Ottawa
Two
Ottawa University.
No, 10
no,
seconds.
Is it
10 seconds.
What's his first name? Jonathan Drouin.
No, 10 seconds, and you.
Is Jonathan Drouin a first round pick? I don't know.
I
So,
don't know any. 71st overall.
among
It's not a first round
No,
pick.
I was asking if Jonathan Drouin
Oh.
was.
among his achievements include a QMJHL President's Cup, 2 World Junior Gold medals, a Stanley Cup, and a double IHF gold medal for World Championship, and a World Cup of Hockey gold medal.
Damn, bruh. He must be Canadian.
Did you say what?
He is Canadian.
No. Okay.
Did you say what year he was drafted? Did I just miss
2006.
it?
is what I said.
2006. Okay.
There's all that. You have 5 seconds.
Oh, so
left.
it's not Jonathan Drouin.
No.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know. Corey
Neither.
Berry. Brr. That was the wrong person.
Is it Ryan Getzlaff?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you going Ducks with me?
Yeah.
So, next question is: he won the Stanley Cup in 2011 with 40 points in the playoffs.
Oh, is
Okay,
it?
it's on the- I
Is
wanna
it?
say what
Is
te-
it?
I know
So
the
no,
team.
sorry, 19 points. 19
Is it
points.
Jeff
in playoffs.
Carter?
19 points in playoffs, 40 penalty minutes.
Is it Jeff Carter?
Oh.
No, 2011, 19 points, 40 penalty minutes.
I'm like I know it's not Doughty, but Doughty.
No,
Okay.
you're close. I think that's who they played in the finals. I think
That's who they.
That's-
That's who won.
Yeah.
2011. No,
Yes.
What? No, the Kings won in 2012. They're not 2011. Oh no.
Oh,
my
no.
Bad, my bad. Oh, I went the wrong team.
I also went Kings in 2011.
no, because 2011 was
Chicago.
The Bruins.
Was it?
And
I know.
Oh!
Oh
Oh no!
okay, wait. I'm gonna say this question, and the first person to say it. He has been suspended 6 times.
Marchand!
Yep.
Yeah! I'm such a genius.
Yeah, you guys kind of messed up who won the cup there, so that took
Yeah, I
you,
know,
that,
I
that
know.
that added a couple questions.
Man, when you said the Kings guy, I was like, oh, it's the Kings. But then I was like, no, they won in 2012. Oh.
So,
Damn
yeah.
it!
I figured Brown Marchand was easy. I was trying to get there slowly, but yeah, I figured by the time we got to the amount of like 19 points and 40 penalty minutes in 2011, that would help. But
I
screwed up who won the cup that
Yeah,
year.
I
so
just
that-
wasn't
Yeah.
thinking. I didn't
I
think
just-
Brad Marchand was that old. I didn't know he was drafted in 2006.
He's watched 2006, but like 2011 was like his like second or third year. Like he took a while to get to the NHL.
Oh.
He
But now
just-
he's sick.
Yeah,
But then he gets a lot of
he's been
penalties and
suspended
suspension.
6 times. So. All right,
Okay.
Ian, got it right. Next week.
We'll get that. We'll get an
So-
update out on Twitter in terms of
Okay, do we want to
score.
talk about what the punishment's gonna be, and can we make it
Yeah,
something
why-
mostly related to Declan? Because
why
it's
don't-
definitely gonna be Declan.
Why
Yeah.
don't we figure this out a little bit later off
Okay.
air, because I think we've gone
That's
on
boring,
long
but okay.
enough. I thank you guys once again for not just being here with me tonight, my good friends, Ian, Marshall,
Have a good night,
producer
everybody.
Seb.
I have 2 friends in this room. I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, and it's not Declan.
Just because I don't like Christmas music doesn't make me a horrible person.
And with that,
You're
we end the show.
Scrooge. Follow your hosts on Twitter at DeBart14, at Ian_Blumenthal, and at Marshall Healy. Don't forget to follow the podcast at Real Good Procast.